Hey everyone, Dave here. Welcome to a new Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I want to talk to you about Ice Golem Hard. I finally got the time to work on it, give it some tries to figure out my Ice Golem Hard level 10 team. And I'm going to showcase it to you now, talking about it while it's running, talk about different team comps that are available for Ice Golem Hard, and why it shows this, the gear level required, and we'll check the gearing on the champs and everything. So let's jump right into it. Why are people a little bit late to farming Ice Golem? Because Ice Golem gear set wise was one of the least favorable in the game. But now after Plarium boosted a couple of the sets there, it became much more desirable for in-game players. Early game, probably it's not that useful still. One of the best gear sets in the game, and that's dropping from Ice Golem, is Reflex, which will basically allow your champ just to have like, it's sort of a Chimer-like ability. If a champ uses his or her skill with Reflex set, you got a tiny possibility, like 40% chance, just to reduce the random skill cooldown by 1. So it's not Chimer, I guess it's like a Painkeeper, but still, it helped champs with those crazy A3s like Cold Heart, Geomancer, or whatever, to get back to their skills really fast. The skill set, the gear sets that were boosted were cursed, so now this has a possibility to apply Hex, which is great for Hydra, and the Provoke set. So if you put it on a Nekmuthar or a Mother Cybele, for example, any champ with lots of AoEs, then they will get a chance to provoke that hit, that cleansing hit all the time. And that's why we are farming it. So I will start a run with my team and then talk about it while it's running, because it's taking a bit of time anyways. One of the frustrating things that makes people don't want to farm Ice Golem that much, one of the boss's mechanics, even in normal, not only on hard, he took a big chunk of damage at once from like enemy max HP champs. He's going to hit back really hard, and if your team is not protected enough, tanky enough, if you don't have attack down on the boss, and if he has the 2 minions still standing there, he will hit really hard and can wipe out your whole team. That's why the strategy for Ice Golem was always just doing damage little by little on him, either by poisons or HP burns, and now we have HP burn activation, which is basically the strategy that you're seeing now. For people with crazy levels of gear that I don't have even, what they are depending on, they are depending on a fast Seer comp, basically buffs Seer taking down the first wave, Chimer resetting, and then she's taking down the second wave. As soon as we get to the Ice Golem, we got there in less than a minute, which I think is good for Ice Golem wise. As soon as we get to the boss, they want everyone to die, and only 1 or 2 champs that are really tanky. Usually these are Cronam, we're seeing on the right here, or Artak, second one from the left. They will basically solo the boss using Brimstone. Brimstone is becoming more and more important in harder content. Brimstone and HP burns and HP burn activation. But the drawback from these strategies is that the level of gear required is really crazy. You need Regen and Immortal. Regen and Immortal are becoming more valuable. Probably you'll have good Immortal from beating the clan boss daily, but Regen from Fire Knight, you might not have the crazy level of gear required. We're talking about high HP, high defense, high speed, high accuracy, high resistance. It's crazy. And you need this in multiple champs if we talk about different areas of the game. You see, this might be my best run yet while we are recording, because 210, my average, I think my best time before this was 2 minutes 30, and my average is 3 minutes with this team. Is it 100%? No, it can fail probably like 20% of the time, which is acceptable for me because I want the higher drop rates from hard 10. So now actually looks like I spoke too fast. Oh, it's still my best time. Okay, let's see what we got. We didn't get much there. Yeah. So let's talk about the strategy here. So I'm using a hybrid strategy because I don't have like the gear level to solo Ice Golem. So I'm depending on multiple champs who does HP burn and HP burn activation, 3 to be exact in this case. I'm depending on Theodore, Artak, and Cronam. And then I'm depending on like a few buffs coming from Pythion and on Seer nuking that first wave really fast. But then come wave 2, that's where we slow down. We usually get to the boss in less than a minute, which is good. The question now is that what if you don't have, well, the level of gear is required if you want to farm a hard level. If the level of gear is there, but not that much, then you need to drop a few level. Maybe you can farm hard level 5 or 7 instead of 10. Who you can replace and the different roles the team is playing that you'll need if you're trying to tackle Ice Golem hard. Pythion, I think, is, I'm not saying he's mandatory, but you can use Pythion, you can use someone like Elva, who's really strong there. What do you need from that support role? You need buffs for Seer, if you're using Seer partially for the waves, and you need Cleanser, Buffer, Reviver, and Healer to keep the team healthy if you want the whole team to survive. If you're depending on a tanking strategy where basically only one champion, Lejeune, was going to solo everything, you don't need that heavy of a support because you actually want them to die once you get to the Ice Golem. So that's the first role. Support, buffer, healer, cleanser. Why is cleansing important, especially and or that block debuffs on Ice Golem? Because the two minions there, they apply nasty debuffs on you. Heal reduction, so your regen won't work, and then defense down, so the boss will hit you even harder. You don't want these, you want someone to either block them with block debuffs or cleanse them if they land. That's why Pythion is so good here. And of course my Pythion is in a bolster set, so that gives me a bit of shield going into the waves and an extra buff for Seer to trip as well. So that's the first role. Second role, which is Artak. If you haven't been playing when Artak came out a few months back with the Call of Arbiter, probably you're not ready yet because there is no way you could have farmed good enough gear to tackle that level in a few months. But yeah, so Artak, other than the HP burn and the HP burn activation, which is the main way we're doing damage to the boss, he's applying attack down. So decrease attack is essential. We see it here on Santa, and it will go on the boss hopefully. Decrease attack is very important to keep the boss. You see here it landed out of the gate, which is great when I'm talking about it, just to keep the team from taking too much damage from the boss. So decrease attack, you can replace Artak basically. You can depend on one champ for HP burn. Like if we talk about a much slower free-to-play friendly version of this team, what do you want? You can replace Theodore, let's say, by another support champ, healer, cleanser, buffer, or whatever, and you can replace Artak by another attack down champ, anyone who will apply decrease attack on the boss, hopefully consistently is going to be good, someone like Tyrell maybe or whatever, and you can even replace Seer by another HP burn champ. You definitely need HP burn activation because without HP burn activation and Brimstone, this run is going to be too slow. And if it's more than 3 minutes in time, it's not feasible to farm it. It will be too long unless you leave it overnight or whatever. But if we talk events and fusions and realistic farming time, you want it to be under 3 minutes, and that's even like a bit too long. But yeah, so talking substitutes, that's what you can substitute them with. The level of gear, it's not easy. I'll show it to you after this run. But mainly you want HP burn and activation, Brimstone preferably, if you get lucky with a Soul Stone for Cronam or your Ninja or whatever. And then just someone to keep the team alive. Because the level of gear that you need to solo it with Artak, or Artak and Cronam can technically solo it, but we're talking about a level of gear like, let's say, above 250 speed, above 300 resistance, 350 accuracy, 70k HP, 4k defense. It's crazy. And that's just, those are not exact numbers. I'm pulling them out of my head here. So there might be a variation there. There's a lot of videos about them. So we have accuracy on a, but yeah, if a piece of gear doesn't have all the right stuff, probably it's not a keep at my stage of the game. So let's check the champs. So Cronam, I'm liking him more and more. He's even more viable than Ninja. My Ninja is dedicated for Sand Devil now, but Cronam, probably I'll do more stuff with him now that he's geared for Amius. If you didn't see that video, go ahead and see it. I got lucky with a 5-star awakening, so he's landing Brimstone all the time. I don't have a refresh accessory on him to avoid messing up Amius rotation, but I have a counter attack where he can extend the the HP burns, and this one will just remove the buffs from him with a possibility there. So 52k HP, 3.7k, 3.8k defense, 277 speed, and then 200 resistance. That's not relevant. 200 is a bit low for the boss, and 400, above 400 accuracy is good, I guess. So that's a very solid build. You can sacrifice just a little bit on speed, and we're not depending on resistance if you're using a cleanser and a healer, so you can ignore it. You can sacrifice a little bit on speed and accuracy, but you cannot sacrifice much on HP and defense, I would say. Otherwise, you're going to mess it up. So that's my Cronam. Let's check who else do we have on the team here. We have Python. So Python also, I think I've shown him in my Amius video. I'm using him there too. And he's in Bolster and Immortal. As tanky as you can have him. Like, this is not much. For Python, especially if you're using him in other area of the game, you need at least 80k. We're talking in-game. 80k HP, 4k defense. 3.5 is okay, I guess, if you can pump his HP a bit. 220 speed is okayish. If he's slower than 200, he won't cycle back fast enough to his skills. And then good resistance. Resistance is always good. That's his masteries. And let me show you Cronam's mastery as well. I keep repeating this because it's super OP. Don't give him offense tree, either Cronam or Ninja. They are not using, they're not doing damage based on their skills. HP burn and activations, that's what you want. This will help them become tankier. So that's my Python. Now let's go checker attack. Exactly the same masteries, that's how I like it. Regen and Immortal also. I think so. HP is good. Defense is a bit low, I would say. Speed is okayish. You cannot drop it lower. Accuracy is low. And then resistance is okay. So the problem with my account that you might not have, that I have too many good champs that I'm splitting my regen gear on for different areas of the game. So I have Artak, Theodore, Cronam now, and Ninja, and Venomage. So that's why I cannot put my best gear on any one of them. If we talk about like 80k HP is enough, try to get him to 3.5k defense, 250 speed if you can, 300, above 300, like let's say 350 accuracy. With that, resistance is good. So he's okay there. So that's our third champ. Now let's look up our Theodore. Theodore, probably he's an all immortal. So because I ran out of regen for the other areas as well. So probably this is not the best build for him. HP is good. Actually, it's not that bad. Like, these stats are okay. The only things that I would advise on your Theodore, again, if you're using him in Dragon and other areas, he needs to be much faster. He needs to be like 50 speed faster. Well, this one got 16 speed, so yeah. So if I'm going to regear him, again, same set of masteries. Like, I didn't give him Eagle Eye because he got enough accuracy. I prefer to give him more resistance so he can survive more. So that's my Theodore. Who's the last one we have on the team? Seer. Yeah. So let's find our Seer. And my Seer works all the way to the top of Doom Tower Heart. So that's her masteries. Preferably, you want to have Seer in Savage or Lethal, or now the new one from Centranos. I don't remember its name. So yeah, around that speed, 300% crit damage is okay with her. We don't care about anything else. If you give her accuracy, she can even strip buffs from the enemy, but that's like where you want your Seer to be. So that was my Ice Golem Hard 10 team. Let me know in the comments below, do you prefer me to go back to the basics? I think I've created a few videos about this in the beginning, talking about like best teams for Dragon Normal, Ice Golem Normal, Fire Knight, Spider, and so on, with some of the creative, less used team. Or do you want me to talk more in game? We're talking about Dragon Hard, Ice Golem Hard, Fire Knight Hard, and all of that. I haven't even started working on Fire Knight Hard yet, so don't ask me about it. Yeah, but let me know what you want to see in future videos. Thank you for tuning in today. Keep playing Raid. I'll see you next time. Bye.